Thank you so much for everyone to joining us today for our webinar from UWE Bristol University today. So I'm Jo, a product specialist focusing on the UK market at ES Educations. So I'm currently based in Malaysia. So we are excited to have Phoenix with us today. So Phoenix is the International Recruitment Manager from UWE Bristol University. So I hope by the end of this webinar, you will have a clear understanding of the key selling point of UWE Bristol University. So as we go along, feel free to drop your questions in the Q&A chat box. So we will address them during our Q&A sections at the end of these presentations. So without further ado, let's kick off this webinar. Phoenix, over to you.
Thank you, Jo. Hi, very good afternoon to all of you. Hi to Ishalini and Franklin, Russell, and Sutirat, and of course, Jo as well. Thank you for having me in these sessions. So I'm Phoenix. I'm the country manager and international students recruitment manager. Okay. Excuse me, a bit of under weather, so just bear with me if I having a bit of cough and then need to drink water. Excuse me. Right. So I work for UWE Bristol, or the University of the West of England. And then so it will be great to introduce you about UWE, about the city, about the popular courses. So if any time you have any question, just type in the chat box. We will pick it up at the end of this session. So a bit of background. The university which I work for is actually called University of the West of England, but sometimes students may actually name it as UWE Bristol, U and V. Okay, and in fact, that is the ethos of the university. I've been working for the university for a long time, and then the culture of my university as well as in my company has always been supportive. Okay, it's always about you and me. So it's like, that's resemble the name of the university as well. We support each other. Okay, and then it's actually in the university is in England itself, in the city called Bristol. Okay, Bristol, as you can see from this map here, okay, this is the map of UK, right? Bristol is actually at the southwest of England. This, you can see London at the right hand side. So London to Bristol is just merely about like less than 2 hours. It's about 90 minutes away. So the city itself has got a lot of good reputation. Okay. It's actually, there's an international airport. It's actually the biggest city at the southwest. It's very vibrant. The young people love it. Okay. So they have got very accessible by road or by train itself also. And a lot of students actually share with us, they found that, coming to Bristol to study is actually one of the best decisions they ever made compared to other cities, is because our Malaysian students, just like you and me, they like to actually go other places. They like to go tour. They like to visit other places. So there is an international airport in Bristol, whereby not all the cities in the UK has got an international airport, and Bristol has it. So, and it's only about like 30 minutes from the city center itself in Bristol. So they can easily get a ticket and fly to other European countries. And sometimes the airfare can be quite cheap. It's only like £30, which is less than 200 ringgit. They can actually hop over to, some Europe countries and spend the weekends or Christmas holidays or, Easter holidays. That's something that they like to do. Okay. And then from Bristol, going to other city like Cardiff, for example, it's just like less than 50 minutes. And then go to Bath, it's only like just one train station away, So it's very, very convenient. Yeah. So some facts findings about general labor market in the UK you might actually encounter a lot of students or parents asking, hey, you know, what jobs are actually in demand in the UK, you know, what's the situation, things like that. So these are general information, yeah. So the job by industry in the UK, as per the reports in June 2023, this is actually from the government ONS in the UK. The biggest sector, as you can see from the chart itself, is actually retail, wholesale as the biggest. Okay, and then health, followed by the healthcare and social care, professional and technical services, business admin support, and education are the top 5 job industry in the UK, okay, whereby they recruit most people, you can say that, okay. And then some of the skills shortage in the UK, these are just some of the, of course, there are so many sectors, all right. And then these are some of the skills shortage in the UK at the moment at a glance, okay. You can see from the screen here, accountancy, banking, and finance, what are those business services, what are they, what kind of jobs are opening, you know, constructions, creative arts design, education, engineering, healthcare, and hospitality, IT as well, okay, science, pharmaceutical, social care, and so on. So these are some of the jobs that is at the moment, they have skills shortage in the UK. All right. So if your students might have the interest and the strengths, they want to do something like that, they can consider some of these, the courses that lead to these kind of jobs. Now, particularly, there is a demand in jobs in the healthcare sector in the UK, okay, because, you know, UK is quite an aging country, so they need more social care and also healthcare professionals to support their healthcare system. So therefore, these are some of the jobs, you know, that will have good demands, will meet the high demands of the sector. General practitioner will be like doctor, like nurse, and then there's pharmacists, physiotherapists, radiographer, you know, and so on. So this, I mean, there are some courses we offer at UWE, but there are some courses we don't, but these are just the general information, okay? Like nursing course we offer, okay? And then physiotherapy, psychology course we offer as well, all right? Yeah, but we don't actually offer like medicine or dentistry or pharmacy. So a bit of background or introductions of Bristol City to you. It's a very nice mid-sized city, about like 700,000 people who live there, okay? This will include residents, people who work there, or students as well. So it's a mid-sized city. It's not really like big hustle bustle like in London or in Manchester, okay? However, it is very unique. It carries very, you know, a lot of different reputation, okay, and the young people actually loves it. Just like in any, you know, a city, like people tend to, you know, go to a better city to start their education. Then when they finish or complete their study, they hope to actually get a job there. And then they, you know, as and when they are ready, they can actually, they save enough money, they want to settle down, they want to buy a house, they want to raise a family there. So Bristol has got that kind of reputation or benchmark for that. So therefore, a lot of people, not just students, they actually like to come either study, work, or raise a family in Bristol. Yeah. Okay. There's so many companies, big and small, actually start based in Bristol. So that means that students will have a higher chance of actually getting, you know, short-term or one-year placement opportunities. And for your information, international students, when they have a student's visa, they can actually work up to like 20 hours in the UK. During term time, that means during study week, okay, they can work up to 20 hours. During like summer break, holidays, Christmas or Easter, they can actually work up to like 8 hours a day. Okay. But again, because being students, their number one purpose and mission is actually study. So therefore, they shouldn't actually work more than what is actually allowed by the government. Okay. Safely said that those students who actually work part-timely, they could actually earn some money to support their living costs. Okay. But not their accommodation for sure. Okay. So just be mindful about that. And then those students who come to study at UWE Bristol, because there are so many companies available in Bristol, therefore the chances for them to actually also like getting work experience through, international talent program, internship and volunteering are much higher. Okay, these are very important elements to be included in their CV for future employment purpose. Okay, not just getting a degree and that's about it. So employers, when they interview the students, how they differentiate, they're actually looking at what sort of experience that your students have to bring to the table and contribute to their company. So work experience, through one of these will be certainly very helpful for their interviews to get their job, the first job. Okay. So some of the companies that are set based in Bristol. So some of these you probably recognize, oh, I've seen this logo somewhere, there are companies like Airbus, who is just like, they're just based in Bristol, about like 5 to 10 minutes away from our French campus. And then we have got a lot of affiliation, partnership with them. Man Animation is like the pizza that create a lot of animation productions. They are in Bristol. Okay. Then the BBC, Barclays, and many other companies, financial companies, actually banks, for example, they are actually set based and located in Bristol. Oops, so fast. Oh, yeah, my slide just jumped to the last slide. What happened? Oopsie. This is okay. Okay. Can you see my screen still?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Right. This is some updates. I mean, if you are Malaysian, some of you might recognize YTL Group as a developer. So they have a big project going on in Bristol, whereby they are building like 2,600 new homes near to our campus. Okay.
Sorry, Phoenix, I think maybe you can make it larger because it's it's quite small.
Quite small. All right.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, on the full screen. So YTL is a big developer in Malaysia, as well as they're expanding their business to overseas, including the UK. They are going to build like 2,600 new housing, just about like 10 to 15 minutes away from our campus. And there will be a lot of sort the accommodations problem in Bristol's. So yeah, some new updates. There will be schools actually built up and things like that. Okay, right. I think this is a video that was done oops, sorry. Okay, just to, hope you have a glimpse about, the Bristol city. It's quite vibrant. It's a pleasant city to be. My personal experience has been, besides studying at the university, being a student or being working adult, for example, it's very pleasant to actually walk in the city, all right? So of course there's shopping malls, then there are also like markets, there are high streets, shops and things like that. So there are Asian markets to buy groceries. And then there are places, for example, like Green Park, where you can just go and chill. And then there are riverside dock areas, we call, and then you can just relax there. All right. And then there's museum, library, where you can actually, they don't really need to pay for anything to go access to it. Towels and things like that. So there are plenty of things and to see and relax yourself. So I find that that's very, very relaxing, beside working and studying. Yeah, that's the kind of impressions that I have whenever I'm actually over in Bristol. Okay. So now coming to a bit about the university, you can see from the screen. And in a nutshell, we have a few campuses, whereby Frenchay campus is the main campus. Most of the programs are actually delivered in Frenchay campus. We have, the law, the business, education, architecture, engineering, computing, English, biomedical science. A lot of programs are actually delivered in the Frenchay campus. We have on-campus accommodation there, students' union, sports center, library. Many facilities are actually based in the Frenchay campus. So the campus can actually house at least 3,000 to 4,000 students. Okay. Now, besides Frenchay campus, the Glenside campus, which was formerly a hospital, but now is actually a campus, is delivering the healthcare program. Healthcare program would include like nursing, optometry, paramedic, radiography, that kind of healthcare related programs. Whereas there are cities campuses that offer graphic design, media production programs. And then in the Bauer Ashton campus here, fashion communication, interior design, a lot of creative arts program, filmmaking, photographies, they are actually delivered at the Bauer Ashton campus. Spark Island is more for like fine art programs. So those students who study those creative industries program, usually they will be, studying in between these three campuses. Sometimes they may actually go to the Bauer Ashton. Sometimes they may actually go to the Arnolfini. It depends on the course and the subjects. Yeah, they are doing. Okay, but anyway, the distance between these campuses in the city are not far. They are just about 10 minutes bus ride only. Okay. So we have got 3 campus, okay? And then this is the helicopter view of our Frenchay campus. When this picture was taken, engineering building wasn't ready, okay? But now we have the new engineering building, which is not in the picture, but later I'm going to show it to you. So it's a green campus. It's a kind of like a campus type of university. So the highest building that we are having is just 7 stories, okay, which is the business and the law, 7 stories. So it's a green campus that we're having. So the students population is approximately about 37,000 students, with about 30,000 are full-time and 7,000 are kind of online students. They're not on campus, but they studied somewhere else. Okay, so it's one of the most popular UK university in terms of students population. So what type of universities that UWE is? Well, we are a very career-focused type of university, meaning to say that the courses that the students join are mainly very much focused on their future careers. Okay, so it's very practical, it's practice-led. And then it doesn't mean that we don't have research. We do. And those research are actually impact on community. Okay, it must be actually making changes to the environments, to the people, and to the community. It's the kind of research that my university is going through. Okay. Right. So some factors, some facts and figures, and usually we got like more than 4,000 international students worldwide joining the university. So we are a university in terms of international student populations. We don't actually have a big cohort of students just from one country. We have a mixture, like from Malaysia, we probably have about like 200 in a year. And then Indonesia, we have about like 50. Vietnam, we have probably about like 100. Thailand as well, we have 100. China, we probably have about like 300 to 400 in a year. So it's a mixture of international students populations in the university. But of course, the rest majority will be the home student, which is the British students. But bear in mind, nowadays, UK is also very diverse. So it's no longer, like, for example, I have colleagues who are UK citizens, but they are Asian, what I'm saying? They are originally the parents and were originally from Hong Kong, from Malaysia, for example, or from Pakistan, but they have been raised, born and bred there, you see. So UK is that kind of diverse right now, okay? And then, so most of our courses, we offer like more than close to 300 full-time courses. And then most of them, 200 over of them are actually professionally accredited, okay? So these are just some of the professional bodies that accreditates our program, right? Malaysian, you probably very, just like many parents, they like their children to study some of the professional courses like law. So our law program, undergraduate, and also the bar courses are actually recognized by the LPQB, so which is the Legal Professional Qualifying Board in Malaysia, whereby they can actually practice as a lawyer back in Malaysia. They can sit for CLP, or they can, when they join the bar, they can actually come back and practice as a lawyer. And then another one is like architecture. Architecture, we have part 1 and part 2, also recognized by the Lembaga Architect Malaysia. Okay. Right. Some of the top ranked subjects based on just Guardian itself. Oopsie, sorry. So some of these courses, maybe occasionally you may encounter students are interested to study like aerospace engineering. We have the aerospace engineering with pilot study. They can have a degree in aerospace engineering, but at the same time, they can train as a pilot, not the commercial pilot, but the PPP license, okay? Okay. Now, in a nutshell, we have 3 campuses, or we call it colleges, 3 colleges, and underneath they have 10 schools, okay? So it's a huge, university environment that we are having, 3 colleges, and underneath they have 10 schools. This is for the efficiency of administrative purpose. That's why it is actually arranged in such a way, okay? Now, we also work with our pathways provider, which is Kaplan International Pathways. They run our they run the foundation program. So which means if you have O-level students or SPM leavers wants to go to a university but still need a foundation, you can consider referring them to study the Kaplan Foundation or the IYO, which is the International Year 1 program. So they have the IYO for business, engineering, now they also have the computer science as well, which leading towards year 2 of our bachelor degree in the respective courses like engineering, computer science, and also various of business program. Okay. Right. Well, sorry. Oop. Then again, it's like my slide just play up. So second, I apologize about the technical issues that we're facing. Okay. Okay. Right. Here we are. Just a second. Okay. Now, some of the popular programs in the university, I mean, yeah, so we offer like 200, more than 200 courses, and these are some of the subjects areas that we think are popular amongst the degree students, okay? And some are actually postgraduate, that means the master's level, okay? Animation, graphic design, fashion, architecture, aerospace, construction project management, early childhood as well, yeah? Teaching status, train them to be a qualified teacher, law, okay? Various of engineering courses, nursing, optometry, physiotherapy, robotics, and so on, yeah? Well, we will circulate the sort of the UWE booklet to Joe, and Joe can actually share with you. We have a long list of the course list that you can actually like have a look whether, you know, your prospective students would be interested to apply. Okay, so these are some of the very popular courses. So some of these courses may have a limitation in terms of seats, especially the healthcare program. For example, like nursing, optometry, and physiotherapy, they have seat capacity, okay? So it's good. Our intake is actually in September for all the undergraduate, okay? And there are some courses offered in January, but the January is very small intake. So most of the programs are actually offered in September intake. Now, it will be good if you can assist your student to make an application before February, okay, for undergraduate as well as postgraduate. That's because you need to prepare, the student themselves need to prepare for the transition, the application process. So if the application comes in like February, they will go through the smooth, how to say, they don't rush and do things on pace, all right? And also postgraduate students, the master students, they even have more concern. They have, some of them, they may be working, they may have family, to actually arrange accordingly. So it's best that, you know, if application comes in February. But having said that, sometimes you may actually get an application later, right? Like in the month of June, we could still support those applications. It's just that the students will need to do things very quickly and apply for accommodation very quickly. And Bristol is such a popular city, so sometimes it's actually very challenging to find for on-campus accommodation. Then the students will need to actually like open options to private accommodation, okay? So, I mean, having said that, all our students actually secure their accommodation, either on campus or private accommodation, so that there isn't, I mean, we solve the accommodations issue, okay? So it's best that if your student could submit in an applications by February, but it can be as long as like in the month of June. The intake will actually start in September, and they still have to actually like apply for, pay for deposit, apply for visa, apply for accommodation, and so on. So all these actually take time. So anyway, those are the ideal timing for your students to work on. But nonetheless, being Malaysian all my life, I know that we like last minute. So a lot of applications will come in the month of June or even July as well. So we could still support that. It's just that the students will have to anticipate some pressure lah. They have to do things very quickly. They have to, apply for accommodation very quickly, but still they can make it to the September intake. Okay. Right. Another clip just to show you the business and the law building. Okay, just to give you a feel of the business and law. All right. That was the business and the law school. It's a 7 stories building, very modern. It's a very nice atmospheres to be in. There's cafes, there's open spaces for students to sit down to do work on their assignments or the self-study or discussion. It's a very, very comfortable place to be in. The picture that's showing on the screen is actually our UWE engineering building. It's brand new, very modern, contemporary, plenty of spaces for different, stakeholders to come together to work on their project. It's a very, very good, come with good facilities to support those courses. Now, it's worth to actually mention that usually engineering, your students will study for at least 3 years for a bachelor degree and 4 years for a kind of like a master's level. Okay. And for the students to get full recognitions by the Malaysia Board of Engineering Malaysia, for example, it has to be a 4 years. So therefore, it might be a concern to the student parent when it comes to money. All right. Our fees, I must actually say, we are not the cheapest, nor that we are the most expensive ones amongst the UK university. We are sitting in the mid-range, which is below 16,000 a year. Okay. And I know that some of the so-called high-rank university may go up to £30,000 a year. All right, or £25,000 a year just for the fee itself. So our fees is actually sitting in the mid-range. It's about 15,800 per year. And then when the year they join, the fees will be locked for the student for their year 2, year 3, and subsequently their final year as well. So it's kind of like a fees guaranteed for your students and parents, which will be helpful for their budgeting purpose, despite that the university may actually increase the fees, but it doesn't actually affect your students. Okay. And also, this is a picture of the Bawah Ashton campus. This is the Media Hub Center. I personally like the Bawah Ashton campus. It's sitting at the Ashton Court, and then at the right hand, the bottom there is a picture. They overseeing the green field, and there are some deers actually. There's a deer park just right adjacent to it, so it's just a kind of serene and green atmosphere there. It's very nice. And at the Bawah Ashton campus, for students who actually study courses like art and design, animation, fashion and all that, they use a lot of facilities, and those equipment are very expensive. So they can actually loan those, like for example, cameras. Okay, we got hundreds of them, and then for the students loan and use it free. Okay, there will be technicians who could actually guide them how to use those the equipments. And then there are plenty of workshops for the students to try new techniques. Okay, so they can explore. So I personally find that it's really worthwhile, the fees that they paid for. Okay, it's really worthwhile because they can access to all these facilities, yeah, while they are being a students with UWE. Now, this is the Glenside campus, where the healthcare programs like nursing, optometry, paramedics, physiotherapies are actually offered. It's a very, very pretty campus. And just recently, we got some pictures of the autumn, the last day of autumn, in the campus, and it was so beautiful at the Glenside campus. It looks very old from the outside, but actually the interior wise, they are all very modern. Okay, this is actually a former hospital, and then my university actually transformed it to become a teaching campus. Okay, now in terms of entry requirements, English will be part of the requirements when it comes to admission to study at UWE Bristol. Okay, so we accept IELTS, of course, like 6.0 at the degree level, and then also at the master's level will be 6.5. Besides that, we also accept other types of English qualification, including like SPM, CEFR, B2, 1119 with the credits, or C, and then O levels. But for UEC English, we don't accept. Okay, MUET, okay, also we don't accept. Now, however, our admission team will try to examine the students based on English qualifications they're holding. In the event that we can't actually examine the students from IELTS, for example, we still have our very own English placement test, which is run online. The students just need to actually sit from the comfort of their home. It's free. Okay, it's running at the same like the IELTS model, 4 components. They will be tested for reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Okay, it's free. Okay, they can actually sit for the test using their laptop at home. Okay, as long as there's internet. And now, if the students pass the English test, they can use that report for admission to study at UWE Bristol. Okay, now if they don't meet the entry requirement, the English, say like we need 6.0, they got 5.5. They can sit for another test, but they need to pay like I think £50 to sit for the test. They can actually study, improve their English for 1 month somewhere else, and then come back and sit for the test again. Okay, but the second test we will be charging like £50 for that. Okay, so the condition would be they need to apply to get an offer letter by UWE. Like, for example, if a student is interested to study business management, so they apply for it and they get a conditional offer. And that condition would be subject to meeting IELTS 6.0. They can actually register to sit for our English placement test, okay, online. Now, so you can see from the screen some of the English qualifications that we accept. Okay, right. Accommodation is another aspect that students concern a lot now. Okay, we have on-campus accommodation. We have those en suite, which mean the bathroom attached to the study room. but share the common facilities. For example, share the kitchen, okay, share the living hall, the dining hall, but they have their very own room. So most of the rooms the students will have their private room. Okay, it's just a matter of sharing the bathroom and the toilet together with another person, or having their own bathroom and toilet attached to their room. Okay, so most of the accommodations are like that. Okay, there are only very few units have twin sharing, but the rest are basically all single room and non-smoking. And they need to learn cooking as well because it's a self-catered accommodation. Right. At the Glenside campus, they have their very own accommodation as well. So for those like students studying nursing, optometry, for example, they will have accommodation at the Glenside campus. Some students actually like to stay in the city center. That's fine. We have plenty of accommodations in the city center. They are not owned by UWE Bristol, but they are actually owned by other property company. Okay. However, they can apply for this accommodation through the UWE accommodation application system. Okay. So from the city center, go to our franchise campus, for example, it will only take about like 15 to 20 minutes bus ride. Okay. So it's not that far. Now, if a student's coming to UWE, what they will be when they journey through the application process, before they arrive, they will be guided with the travel arrangement, like, from Yes Education, to guide them through how to apply for their accommodation, and then have their ticket book. Maybe yourself actually help the students to book for the air ticket, and then apply for the accommodation, and then the system with the visa application. And then we also arrange the airport transfer as well in mid-September. Okay. So then when they are in the UK, they will be guided about how to adjust life in the UK. And they also have like students orientation. Just a bit of an update that we have a UWE Malaysia Students Association in UK, and they are run by the Malaysian students. And for the Malaysian students, they are very active because I'm actually in their WhatsApp group. So they organize various activities. Like, for example, during orientation, they will like group the Malaysian students who are interested to go for city tour on foot. That means walk tour in the city, where to buy groceries and things like that. And then during festive time, like Deepawali, they will have gets together, potluck. Raya, Chinese New Year, also they have that kind of a potluck session. And then they also like group together to join competitions like the Nottingham Games, which is very popular every year. So they like, renting a bus, and all the Malaysians actually bought on the bus and go to Nottingham University to either they join the sports competition, let's say like basketball, badminton, and that sort of category. And even some students are just there to support, just be a cheerleaders. So yeah, very interesting. I recently checked, they have new categories. They have chongkat and all this. Very funny, very funny, kind of games going on, which is great. Besides studying, these are some of the activities they can also like join. Okay, very popular questions. What are scholarships that's available for, say, like Malaysian students? Okay, actually we have many types of scholarships, but basically these are the ones that is quite common among the Malaysian students. Like if you have a students actually study at our partner, like Taylor, Sunway, Help, Inti, the One Academy, then they transfer to UWE, they will automatically get a £1,000 fee reduction. Okay. Now, if they have very good academic standing, all right, their result very good, so they will also stand a chance for 1,500 to 2,000 pounds of academic merit scholarship. Now, the scholarship is not accumulative. That means they are not stacking one another. You cannot actually have partnership then add with academic merit like that. No, you can't. But whichever is the highest amount given by the university will overriding the lower level, the lower amount of scholarship. Like for example, if a student's getting a 1,500 pounds of merit scholarship from a partner like Taylor's, for example, then it will actually superseded. That means they will get 1,500 instead of 1,000. Okay. So now besides that, we also have dual awards scholarships, which is 50%, the law scholarship as well, the BTC scholarships. All they need is just get an offer first, and then they will be invited for an interview if they are eligible, okay, for a virtual interview. And if they stand out and if they actually win, they actually got scholarships. If not, then at least they will gain some experience, interview experiences. Now, like to actually highlight as well, we have this international sports scholarship, which is very special. This year, I was told that we have allocated with the whole Asia Pacific has got 25 places for international sports scholarship. And then it will be offered to those very good athlete at the national level, international level, meaning to say that representing Malaysia, okay, in certain categories, okay. Like for example, we have got a group of top squash players in UWE Bristol, including one of the very famous, his name is Ko Yin Yao. He just won the gold medal for Malaysia in the Hangzhou Asian Games in the squash category. He's the #1 squash player for Malaysia for men category. And besides that, we also have a few more other talented squash players in UWE right now. They also receive a 30% sports scholarship from UWE. Now, if you have that kind of candidates, okay, all you need to do is actually refer to Joe and then write into the sport director. The sport director will actually filter, because not all the sport that my university can support. Like for example, golf is not our game, you see. So even though the students is very good at golf, they probably won't be able to cultivate and nurture the students in UWE, but there are other sports that we could. Okay, so this I will actually leave it to our sport director to do the filtration. Okay, so if ever the students receiving these sports scholarships, they will get the scholarship for 30% on fee reduction on every year when they study with us. Okay. So entry requirements, we are not the new kids on the block. We have been in Malaysia market, so as in the Asia Pacific market for quite some time. So we are very familiar with the qualification, the pre-U qualification in the market. So we accept many types of qualification beside A-level, STPM. We also recognize like UEC, Canadian pre-universities, and various Australia pre-university qualification, Murphy, SAM, and so on. Okay, so some of the programs require slightly higher entry requirements, like for example, architecture, physiotherapy. Those are the more require higher marks. Okay, so we need a 3A and 2B for UEC students, but in general, we need 5Bs for all other courses to join the let's say business, for example. We need a 5Bs from a UEC students. Whereas for the CPU students, we need at least like well, I think 65 would be, no, 80 is actually for architecture, but 65 is for general. Okay, like STEM would be 70 and above. Okay. So well, this is one of our alumni. Some of you might recognize her, some of you might not, because I'm working in KK, I'm in Kota Kinabalu today, now in a hotel. This morning I have a sessions with the agents here, so I picked this alumni to feature her in my presentation. She's one of the politicians in Morrison right now. She's our LLM. She did her master's degree in law with UWE Bristol. Yeah, she's very influencing right now in her political careers. So yeah, we have many alumni in law, in business. Yeah, Joanna is just one of them who is, doing very well, but we have many others. Okay. Oopsie. It's very interesting. My computer just not responding very well, but that's about it from me. So if you have any question, feel free to ask. Okay. So Russell has actually put in a question. Hi, Phoenix, can I check with you? What is the percentage of international student to domestic students ratio? Well, we have got around I think this year we have 6,000 new international students joining us. So domestic, I think altogether we have in total we have 37 to 38,000 students. So international will be 6,000. So yeah, what's the ratio? 1 in 6? Yeah, 1 in 7 or something like that. So it's still a very good ratio. Between international and domestic. It's kind of interesting to find out that some of the high-ranked universities, in fact, they have more international students than the local students. It's like 60% are international students and then 40% are the locals. Then you're wondering, hey, am I studying in the UK or am I actually studying in an Asia university sometimes? But whereas with UB, our ratio is quite healthy. Okay, 6,000 international students globally, okay, which include all around the world, 100 over countries, 140 countries, yeah. And also with sports scholarship, what are the example apart from squash the students can apply for? Well, we used to have badminton. We give scholarships to badminton players, and basketball is also another category that you can consider. Because I only have a few students who just received the scholarships, and it happened to be all the squash players. So I must confess that I do not know what other sports that we could potentially support as well. But there's no harm to actually pop an email to the sport director to inquire about this though, So yeah, so it's good to find out whether we have got that community to cultivate the students while studying and also, playing the sport games they are into, their sport careers. Yeah, so there's no definite answer from me here, Russell. We were very interested to find out from Cherry. Just recently, you actually read from the social media post that there's a Cherry who won as the globally the Latin dancing sports as number one. She applied to UWE Bristol. She deferred her study from last year to this year. From September 2023 to 2024. So we want to find out whether she would be interested and whether our university could support her dancing career or in study. So it's interesting. Yeah. Okay. So any other questions you might have?
I think I got one questions. So are there, better chances to get a scholarship, if apply early?
Well, it depends on how early and also how late. Obviously, early is always good. Okay, early you don't miss anything. It's just that if they apply late, as in from June onwards, I would consider that it's quite late already. Then most of the scholarships will probably has already been allocated. Okay, so or the interview session has already passed. Then they don't stand the chance to go for that. They only have maybe left with something else. Okay, so academic merit scholarship, usually it will stay until the intake starts. Okay, so not to worry about that. There's no deadline. But then like those law scholarships, the BTC scholarships, the interview will be sometime in May and June. So it's good that they have an offer and be invited to attend to those scholarship interview. Beside that, we should also have another scholarships called a video scholarships or something like that. So we haven't actually like decided on the theme yet for next year, but just we will share with you once it's actually been confirmed. It's usually the students could actually create a videos to talk about certain topics. Okay, it could be sustainability, you know, it could be about why they think that studying abroad is important to them, how they can actually make a difference. Well, it's a competition. It's actually geared for students who think they are talented in somewhere, okay, but they probably not so cut out in their academic, okay, but or they are actually very good in their academic as well, but they want to actually apply for slightly higher scholarship for themselves, then they give it a try, and no harm about that. Yeah, so we do actually have another competition scholarships, something like that. And that one should be rolling out early next year. And then the deadline usually will be like sometime either end of May or June. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We might
Thanks.
also have the STEM scholarship as well. Like STEM scholarship, it can be any course related to STEM. Okay. Science, engineering, okay, maths, okay, or technology type of courses. Any of those STEM courses. Yeah. Okay.
So, Phoenix, can you remind us again about the application deadline for the September intakes? So it's best to submit the applications before February, right?
Yeah, as early, like ideally, if the application can comes in February, okay, before March will be ideal. Okay, will be good, will be very like, you know, smooth, and you don't feel the pressure. Your students don't feel rushed at all. Do things at the pace, you know, you're not missing out. Okay, but in your reality, sometimes you may actually encounter the students just getting to know you and want to get apply to a university as late as in June, you know, and that happened a lot in our Malaysia culture. We like last minute, and last minute seems to be very serious. Okay, so that happened a lot. So we also support that. Don't worry. Okay, as long as the course is not full, we could still accept application and process the quickest possible way. Okay. Now, if you want me to give you a strict deadline, I would say that if a student actually could make an application and still subject to course availability before August, they can still make it and transfer in September. Okay. Mid-September is still fine, no problem. Okay. But they have to bear with some of the, you know, pressure they might have. They might feel, oh, very rushed, or they might actually have to bear with like, oh, you need to also like apply for private accommodation, yeah, because maybe you could hardly actually secure with on-campus accommodations. If they could actually accept those conditions, yes, they can still join the course in September. All right. Now, this will be especially for the degree students, because most of the time are the father and mother who support them. All right. They are the father and mother foundation funded them for study. So they don't have pressure. They're kind of like carefree. All they need to is just managing the application and transfer processes. And yes, education will be helping them throughout. Now, the challenge will be with those students, matured students, like master's degree students. They could be self-funded, or they need to get loan. Okay, they need to actually like, you know, apply leave with the company or resign from work. They need to arrange a lot of things. Now, the postgraduate, the master's degree students are the challenge one. They can't actually do things like, oh, in 2 months, I will go to UK now, I start applying. No, it will easily take at least half year to manage that. Okay, they need to actually apply. Of course, the longer the better. You know, sometimes even some students actually take up to 6 to 9 months and get an offer. Then slowly they do one at a time, do things. This also included their private matters. Okay, maybe their houses, their cars, you know, their families, then their jobs and things like that. So all these are also like part and parcel, you know, pieces of the puzzle itself, you know. So for master students, you definitely need at least 6 to 9 months to journey through the whole application and transfer processes. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you,
Right.
Phoenix.
No worries.
I think there's no more questions from our attendees, right?
By the way, we also have a January intake, which is a smaller intake, offer a few master's programs. I think, you know, Joe, you can actually circulate with them the January intake cost list if there is any students.
Sure. Yeah. So that means they still can apply for this January intake, right?
Yes, our last day to issue a CAS is actually on the 18th of December. Okay, the course will start like in mid of January. So having said that, if the application comes in like latest lah, like early December, they can still make it on time to, you know, go study in January. But they need to actually like pay the deposit very quickly, you know, £5,500 before 18th of December, because after that, the university will close for the winter break and come back in early January, you know. So yeah, therefore it's important for them to actually get the deposit paid and also get the CAS out as late as the 18th of December.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think there's no more questions at the moment. Yeah, I think, yeah.
Yeah, if that's the case, then we will put the session to an end.
Yeah, we can end the sections. Yeah, thank you so much, Phoenix, and thank you everyone for your times today. So we will keep you posted on our upcoming webinar training. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or any regional marketing manager at the regions. Okay, so thank you so much and have a nice day.
Bye.
Bye.